are detrimental, not only to their self-image, but to the nation as a whole. Because, dude, like I said, when you do this to people, you see what's happening. Not everyone has the mindset to say, okay, well, damn, I got to find out about this. I got to know how I can defend myself psychologically. You got people out there saying, fuck that. Nah, the next person I see who I think is targeting me, I'm going to shoot. Or, I'm going to get back at the government. So I'm going to go up in a church or I want to develop some type of complex or hatred for a group of people who have done nothing to you, or a person who's done nothing to you. I mean, people raise their hands all the time. People, play with their fingers all the time. So, sometimes when you get so caught up in the targeting that you don't know who is really targeting you. Every action that you see is perceived to be targeted. But when you learn about targeting, you learn about the psychology of it, you know exactly who's targeting. Right? Because you have a reference in what you've read to say, yeah, you know what? Yep, that's happening. Like I said, the man in the bagel store. He's a perfect example. I'm just snapping at people who are not targeting him. This shit is scary, bro. This shit, like I said, this shit is scary. I mean, Nigel said one time he went and spent the night over a girl house, and the next morning when he was about to leave, he had mud on his shoes. Like, okay, how'd you get mud on your shoes? I mean, did she wear your sneakers and run around in the mud outside and left them there to make you think you're crazy? It could be a possibility. People do weird shit. Why would I left my umbrella outside, right, because it was raining. Why would someone cut the umbrella? Why would someone do that? Right? I mean, they cut the umbrella. Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, why would you do that? But people do. And you're being targeted when they do dumb shit like that. There's no reason for that. They could have just took the damn umbrella. All right? They could have took the umbrella, but they cut the umbrella in half and left it there. Like I said, the TI, they have to define that little piece of normalcy in their lives and learn to capitalize on that. Because the minute of the negative behavior, the negative thought patterns all the time, you're opening up yourself to all sorts of influences that may not be for your own best interest or in your best interest.
Neil.
Yeah.
What do you suggest to any genuine fellow EI/TIs that they come across this podcast and hear this conversation and are wondering to themselves, yo, man, that's a lot of stuff going on, this and that and the third. A lot of issues, a lot of problems within there.
Right.
What are the solutions? Like if someone were to come and tell you, what would be the solution for you? It might be different than mine, might be different than Nigel's or Raw Truth 7. You know what I mean? But for you specifically, how are you able to circumvent what you've been going through ever since you were a child, that you know of, that you're aware of, with all the stuff that you already have said, and where you are now, looking back at all that stuff? What can you honestly say here and now has helped you?
That helped me is talking to someone professional about this. I mean, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes I tell people don't talk to a therapist or a psychologist, but it depends on the situation, right? It depends on the situation. When learn about your targeting first, if your targeting is not at the point where you're constantly screaming and flipping out, right? Learn about it. And then when you go in to talk to a therapist or psychologist, you're better armed in terms of knowledge, right? That you can say, okay, you know what the pattern of behavior is, right? You know how U.S. government and you know, the psychological experimentations and all that kind of stuff. You read about that. You know what it's called, and you know all the names of the experiments and such, yada yada yada. You're talking to a professional who's probably read about the same thing, right? So now the communication becomes better. Now they can have. Now you see that they have a little bit more empathy, and much more of an advice given rather than a clinical response, right? And that that has helped me a lot, because when I explain stuff to psychologists and they say to me, "I believe you," right? Because I've studied this. And what you're telling me is very clinical in the psychological field of study, right? Then you know that, okay, yeah, it makes you feel good because you're able to converse to a professional, right, who is willing to say to you, "I believe you. I've studied these types of things. And what you're saying to me is exactly what I've studied. And I know it's not just you talking. I know it's happening to you." It does wonders for you, man. It did for me.
That's what's up. I wanted to add this as a way of being practical about things as well, you know what I'm saying? From T.I.'s perspective and shit, because you know how they do us. Not all the time do they give us the right person, so to speak. Sometimes these people may be approached later on. They start off cool, but then they're approached. And the next time we go see them, they start targeting us. Whether it's the hand signals, the programs, or whatever the case may be. So in regards to that, not saying that happened to you per se, but I'm saying if you were to have someone come to you and say, well, I've been to psychiatrists, what they've done to me is pretty much target me. So how do I circumvent that? So what would I be able to do to try to, find someone that I can actually speak to that would help me with this, that's not involved in this whole, perp network international? Yeah,
well, the first thing you got to do is check the psychologist or the therapist on. Check them on. Tell them why are you targeting me? Why are you using hand signals on me?
What if
it's making me uncomfortable.
Right. What if they start denying it?
Well, then you say, well, you know what? I don't feel comfortable talking to you. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to end this session and I'm going to try to find someone who is willing to help me and not do me further damage. And then you terminate whatever agreement you have with your psychologist, right? All it is just, you just got to say the words. It doesn't matter what paper you sign or whatnot, just say the words to the therapist and you find another therapist or psychologist.
Right.
Don't stay silent. Check them on it. Shit, I do all the time.
Right.
I do all the time. I check them on it.
Good for you. Nigel told me one time that, you know, I recall him going on to a website that, by the way, I looked for it. It doesn't, no longer there. Not too surprising to me that it's not there. I guess they would take it down after the fact. He was like, when he went to a particular session or something like that, he asked the psychiatrist or psychologist whether he knew of what a coercive persuasion program was. By the indoctrination of most, if not all, psychologists and psychiatrists and therapists and all that, they got to know about that shit. They're all taught on some level or another. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
About a coercive persuasion.
Listen, if they're studied in human behavior, they all learn about it.
Right. So what Nigel pretty much did by asking that question was take away any type of defense that that person could come out and say as a form of plausible deniability. When he asked him that question, it was a yes or no question. So he was like, no. So right then and there, he knew he was full of shit. He pretty much walked out and left the session as it was or something like that. So in regards to that, going back to the website that was there but no longer exists, and I remember seeing it because Nigel showed it. It was green and yellow, the emblem of the American APA, American Psychiatric Association. And within that website had the about section of what a coercive persuasion program was. All of a sudden, that shit is down.
Yeah, because they're trying to hide knowledge from folks, right? Like I said, you know, I wrote an article where I talked about there's a book, right? It was called the New Atheist Threat, right? Militarism in the secular world, right? And I got angry about that with that book because I'm like, wait a minute. I've never seen an atheist go and shoot up a church or a school, right? Or a concert full of people. There's always these right Christian folks, right? That doing stuff like this. But yet, this person writes a book calling atheists the new threat. So I went in on his ass. No, I did. I went in on his ass. I wrote an article about that nonsense, and I listed, and not only listed, but I included the links to the YouTube video, right? The YouTube videos of the atrocities that U.S. military and their contractees, the people they contract, security contract, you know, like Blackwater, right? The YouTube videos of these people committed murder. There's one video where there's a Humvee on the streets of Baghdad, right? And the traffic is packed. And the dude that man in, I don't know, the 50, 60 caliber, whatever, gun, you know, that big gun there on top of the Humvee, and he's just mowing down people in their car, and the Humvee is literally driving over the cars, right? And there's a woman on a medium with grocery bags, and the dude aimed the gun at her and gunned her down. And there's one where you see kids in the back of a car, and the dude lowered the gun and fired into the car, killing everybody, and the Humvee just rolled over them. Right? And another one was the guys in the helicopter, the Apache helicopter. And there was a Rogers news people in a van. And they were doing an interview with guys on the ground, right? Now, the guys didn't have any weapons. And the guy only had one gun. The cameraman had his camera on his shoulder. You're in an Apache helicopter. You have the latest technology. surveillance technology and the helicopters. You have the latest camera equipment, video equipment. You could zoom in, right? And first of all, the guy at the camera wasn't even facing the helicopter. He was facing the two men that he was interviewing, right? There were other people in the van. There were kids around, right? And you can hear the pilot talking to the base. It looked like an RPG. I'm like, I can see it's a camera, right? You can zoom in and see it's a camera. He has all this conversation, right, on the radio, and you can hear the guy says, "Light them up." And he goes, "It's a go. We're lighting them up." And they just shot everybody, B. Everybody on the ground. And then they apologize and, "Oh, well, we thought it was an RPG. We didn't know it was a Reuters news van." Like, come on, man. Like, who you bullshit? I provided links to those videos and other stories, right? In my article. And these are Christian people. And you're calling atheists a new threat? Are you out of your friggin' mind? But anyway, I circulated the article online. About a month later, I went back to check. I went to check on the links, and I couldn't find none of the video on YouTube. None. They deleted all the video, even the one where there's a U.S. Marine in Libya who was at the aqueduct who says this is why they wanted Libya, because of the water. This is a U.S. Marine, right, saying this, providing video proof. Right? I didn't go to Libya and videotape that. This is one of our soldiers exposing that. Dude, they got rid of all the videos, all the articles. I couldn't find not one. But that's what they do. Whatever information that helps people, to help them fight against what's happening to them, right? You know what I'm saying? If you want to control the masses, if you control the flow, what was it? The three types of power, right? Natural resources, the flow of information, right? He who controls the flow of information controls the world, right? Yep. So when they deny you access to information to help you, because people are learning, and people are learning how to target their targeters, people are learning how to deal and to learning how to circumvent some of the negative effects of the targeting and the experimentation that are being done on them, right? So a lot of people in America are not flipping and going gun crazy and all this kind of stuff. And developing, attitudes where they're just rude and mean and nasty all the time. And they can't allow that to happen because they need a lot of TIs to go off the wall and do dumb shit so they can justify, right? So they have a group of, it's basic psychology, really. Right? It's like what Hitler and his goons did in Germany. Right? You want to take away people's guns, right? You set up all these state-sponsored terrorists, right, or terrorist acts, right, on their own people and their own nation, and then that you use those people you use those events, right, as a reason to take away people's firearms. And why all of a sudden now it's all this, okay, well, we need to tied up gun control and all that kind of stuff. When they were killing black babies in the 80s, right, drive-by shooting and shit like that, you ain't hearing nothing about, we need to toughen gun laws. What I heard, we need more guns. We need the police to be better equipped. No more 38s. They need Glocks. They need to fight some of these people with semi-automatic guns and all that kind of stuff, right? They have SWAT teams now, tanks. They were militarized, right? They didn't care about saving black babies. But now this stuff is happening in suburban communities, suburban neighborhoods, and now we need tighter gun control, right? But you have to understand what's going on. Our targeting is part of a bigger scheme. Part of a bigger scheme. And people need to realize that. And that's why targeted individuals need to learn about this stuff. Because when you destroy a people in a nation psychologically, you know what they say? When the mind goes, what goes?
Yeah,
when the mind goes,
the body would follow.
Exactly. Folks need to understand what's happening. These are all mechanisms of subversion. And hear the police sirens. There they go again.
That's you. When I started reading earlier the hidden evil of covert, the financial elite covert war against the civilian population, they started with the sirens. And whoever was on the call, you hear the sirens in the background. So when we start, they listen to the calls and they know that when we talk about stuff, we talk about the truth, and they know it's making sense. They'll hit us with the sirens.
Yeah, I mean, because when folks, people need to be called on their bullshit. Seriously, people need to be called on their bullshit. Because if you don't call them on their bullshit, other people will start to believe the bullshit. And like I said, when I wrote that article, and several others, I wrote one about the psychological aspects of how they were trying to drive me insane. With the alien script, how they got this telepathy technology because of they captured some aliens crashed on Earth and all this, and now they're trying to subliminate about Area 51. Why is Area 51 all of a sudden trending? So they still back on that bullshit. I'm not falling for it. I wrote an article to let people know don't fall for it.
Because that's a narrative. They set these narratives for PIs to believe to make you sound like they're actually crazy.
Right.
So a lot of PIs fall for that stuff. They don't know.
Right, exactly. And that's why I wrote that article about that, to let them know what's happening. This is what's happening. I wrote in the article, it just, I know it sounds silly, but if this shit is not happening to you, then you don't know. When it does happen to you, you have a reference to go back to. Say, wait a minute, I've read this shit somewhere. Let me go back and revisit that site where I read this on. That's how I try to help, a lot of TIs. I just write about my experience, and I try to write it in a manner like a story. You know what I'm saying? Like they're reading like a short story, on this kind of stuff. Because I go on these calls and it's just madness on some of these calls, man. Demons, reptilians, come on. Can we stick to something that's real, right? That we know has been happening and is still happening. Don't bring up episodes of V and all this. You know, V, the movie with the aliens that were reptiles. You know what I'm saying? No, because they use those shows. You know, they transmit to TIs to look at those shows to get them all, messed up in the head. And what's that movie, They Live? I was on a call, and all they could talk about was They Live with Roddy Piper. You know, where we had to have the special glasses to see what the aliens look like, underneath. And, I mean, they had a whole show on that, and people were like, yeah, that's true. This is what they do. They're aliens here, and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. They look because it's what they feed them. But I write exactly how it's being done, how they send the signals, the transmissions, what they put in your head, and all this kind of stuff. So that people are aware of it. I guess they figure, since we can't shut him up, we'll try to assassinate him. We'll give him cancer or something. You know what I'm saying? Make him have a heart attack. Cancer don't work. We'll make him have a heart attack. We'll make sure he has congestive heart failure. That kind of stuff. People are just unadulterated wickedness and cruelty.
Yeah, they got everybody conditioned pretty good, so I mean, we do our best to try to wake them up, but what we can do.
Now check this out, y'all. Y'all doing an awesome job. Don't sleep on the fact that you are educating certain people that needed to be educated in the first place. Besides myself, besides World Truth 7, besides Night of Thunder. You know what I'm saying? Nigel, your stuff, Neil, you too, you know what I'm saying, has helped every person that's on this call in regards to us 7. You know what I mean? I could speak for myself in this, that if it wasn't for Nigel putting me up on shit when I was told what I was told, I don't know where I'd be right now. You know what I'm saying? It's because of the stuff that I've learned through you guys that I'm here now giving back with my own podcast. Because like I said, you know what I mean, I was just like Neil, man. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? You go on these conference calls, all you hear is a bunch of fucking bullshit, man. Misdirection, disinfo. Yeah. But that should be expected, as it is, right? So I said to myself, damn, man, what the fuck are all the calls like Nigel Nicholson and shit? What happened to those calls? There's none out there. And I guess my super ego spoke and said, go create it, motherfucker. You want to see that? Go create it. Well, here I am, right? Got the podcast going. I'm trying to see if I can get as many genuine EI/TIs together in a format where we can all express ourselves, continue educated, passing the torch, man. You know what I mean? Because, believe it or not, what Nigel's done, what you've done, Neil, with the calls you've both recorded in the past, has helped TIs, man, genuine TIs. I can speak for one. In England, Night of Thunder. He has all Nigel's old talk show calls recorded. He went ahead and he made sure that he got all those calls, man, that fucking talk show deleted purposely. They didn't have to do it, but they did it, and we know why. You know what I'm saying? But Night of Thunder's a brilliant one, and he picked up on both.
I posted on the TI's Facebook page that I was, looking to do a documentary in Charlotte, the TIs in Charlotte. Because, I don't see, when I see documentaries be on targeted individuals, it doesn't represent us. It doesn't represent Latinos. It doesn't represent, black and brown people. And, you know, so there's something missing there, right? And I haven't gotten back one response yet, right? And I know there's a lot of TIs in Charlotte because, you know, people are always emailing me, right? But I want to get this documentary done. I have 2 cameras that can record the video. So I can use one of my main camera, and I can use one as B cam. But I haven't heard back anything from anybody yet. And the dude, the one dude, like I said, that I met here, you know, he's too sensitive with the shit, and he doesn't know how to respect me when I say don't post the type of stuff that I've told you that the, you know, that the target, the perps are trying to do to me. Don't, you know, post stuff like that on my personal page. You can send me an email, right? And for that person to get upset over that, you know, it just goes to show me that, you know, sometimes, you know, people claim to be PIs, but if they're not respectful of your opinions or your decisions or, you know, whatever, you ask them not to do something and they get mad, you know, over it, then it's just, to me, you know, you're no better than the perp themselves.
I see where you're going, and I understand where you're coming from, and I agree. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at the fact, Neil, that some of these people are also being manipulated. If they're real TIs, right? Like you were saying earlier, you know what I'm saying, you're talking about how people can get manipulated through this mind control technology and not even realize it, and think that they're strong-minded, think that, nah, that shit will work on me, man, because I'm too... You'll be the first motherfucker that'll fall for that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, it's possible that person could have been fucked with.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying no. You know, I'm not saying no. But I'm just saying that the behavior, not the person, you know, per se, and you know, but their behavior towards someone who is in the same community is asking them, yo, there's a better way to go about something, right? Right. Because I want to keep the dialogue going, right? But I just don't want the dialogue to be on this certain forum.
I understand.
Right? I mean, seriously, because you got to understand that as a TI and people are being conditioned, you know, they're going to look at you as like being crazy and all that kind of stuff, right? So you want to basically have your piece of reality, right, in terms of in a way so that people who know you know that, you know, you think clearly in a sense, right? So they know when you talk about being targeted and you know, I do what's called, you know, like you have like soft proof. You know what a soft proof is?
What is that?
A soft proof is, let's say, for example, in printing, right? Before a job goes to, before they make plates on a job, right? They print out a sample of what a product is going to look like, right? Before it gets printed. That's called a soft proof, right? It's not the, and then you have a hard proof, which is the actual product coming off of the press, right?
So one is before, one is after.
Right, right. So the hard proof is the actual printed piece, right? That's folded and all that kind of stuff, you know, to make a sample for the client. That's a hard proof. Soft proof is just a printout, and they fold it, you know, whatever they bind it in a way that, you know, it looks like, you know, this is what the product will look like, but it's not the actual printed piece. That's a soft proof, right? So what I try to do with my personal page is do what I call soft proofing or soft injections of a TI, right? So the people who may think that, you know what, dealers, all this rockers don't think that, because I give it to them in a manner that's kind of watered down, right? It's planting that soft bug in their air, right? And then as time goes by, I'm able to hit them with the harder stuff, right? So that's what I try to do. Because you can't just bombard people who've known you to be one way, and then all of a sudden, oh, Neil on some shit now. What the fuck is he talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's like a shotgun effect.
Right, exactly. And, you know, I don't want that to happen on my personal pages, right? When I get into the forums and the TI pages and all that, and the groups and all that kind of stuff, yeah. When I take, you know, some examples from those, and I post it on my, you know, on my personal page, right? But I have to be able, I have to maneuver in such a way, right, that it gets people to start thinking and not hit them, bam, like you said, like a shotgun effect, and they're like, what the fuck? Right? Because when they're already spreading rumors about you being crazy and all that kind of stuff, you know, you don't want to do anything that'll give validity to those rumors. I have to do, you know, just hit me up on another forum to discuss this stuff. And like I said, it's not the person, but it's the action, the behavior, right, that follows. It's like saying, well, you know what? If I can't talk to you, or if I can't post that shit on your personal page, you know, then okay, then I don't need to talk to you in a chat or in a messenger. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying, well, you know what? This person is trying to fuck me, right? Because I'm giving you options in which you can further the discussion, but you don't want to accept those options because you got your mindset on putting this shit on my personal page.
Okay, now I'm seeing the directive. Now I'm seeing where it's coming from, where this person was doing that shit purposely. And they were more than likely a person.
Right, exactly.
Because now you've explained it in more detail. Now I get where you're coming from with the whole thing, because you gave them other options, like you said. You gave them other venues to follow up on and continue the conversation. Right. Because you felt uncomfortable. You let them know that straight up. You didn't feel right. You didn't want to discuss that any further on that format. But here are other formats where you can continue to talk about this if you so choose. Exactly. The person got tight or what have you, and that was pretty much something that they let go within their own being to show you that they weren't on the up and up. Right, exactly.
And you know, when people do that, then you have to really question their motive, you know, for doing stuff like that.
No doubt.
It's like saying, you know what? It's like saying, let's say, you know, you're how should I put it? Let's say you're at a job, right? And your girl comes, or somebody that you're dating comes, and she wants to bang you at the job. You're like, I could get fired. You know what? We could do this in the parking lot later. Matter of fact, you know what? We can go to the parking lot right now. They're like, no, we got to do it right here. Right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that to me is just, it just shows me that there's something not right about this person. And, you know, and their reasoning for wanting to discuss a subject like that, you know, on my personal page when I've given them options to do so on other forums. When they refuse to do so on other forums, then I'm like, okay, I see what's up.
Right. Because at that point, you could pretty much distinguish what they were trying to do was to make you look some sort of crazy up online.
Right.
Through your personal webpage. Therefore, trying to cut off any further business that may come to you through that venue or what have you. Get people talking about you in that way, in that fashion where you're like, what the fuck is this coming from? And that person knows exactly what they were doing all along because that's what they were trying to set you up with.
Exactly.
See, I was thinking before that, before you gave me all the details and shit, I was able to get to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Man, I was thinking, because, they do that too, like with the mind control technology, where they have 2 TIs or more, what have you, want to connect, right? And these people will go out their way because they hate that shit. They don't like for real TIs to connect, to meet up.
Right, exactly.
So I'm thinking that it was the mind control technology made them say that to trigger you, and that way you would get distrustful and shit. Like, because that does happen as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But no, I understand that.
In this case, it clearly wasn't that. It was that dude trying to set you up to look crazy and shit like that.
Right, exactly. And, people know me, I ain't having that shit. Hell no. You ain't going to try to play me like that. No, heck no.
No doubt. One thing's for sure, you guys are making a dent. Maybe taking a long time for it to trickle down over after all these years. But I'm pretty sure, I can guarantee you that at this point, there are people listening. There are people waking up. There are people looking into this stuff.
Well, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I listen to other TIs too, and some of their stories have helped me as well. It's all about just getting information out there, sharing your story, your part of the conglomerate, of our experience, and just, but the thing is to be informative, not just to tell your story, but to be informative. You have to give somebody something for them to further their knowledge about, a certain situation or, situations. And, I've tried my best to explain in terms of in these stories to let people know that this is how they go about it. And I try to break down the steps in as simplistic as possible, because they don't want to send you anything too complicated to make you think. They want to send you something simple that you get right away.
Right. Yeah. I think that you hit the nail on the proverbial head when you said that when people are properly informed,
right,
about the proper information, not the disinformation or the misdirection, that sort of stuff, but the proper information from a reliable source.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You can make an informed decision,
right,
that pretty much takes it to a level where you can get out of a certain outcome that the person may be in, that before they weren't aware of certain things regarding the information that they may have come to now. Now they're more educated to the fact, because they took the time to research, took the time to look into it, and they connected certain dots that may have been right up the alley of what they're going through. They're like, holy shit, this is what I'm going through. What the fuck is going on with how do I get more information? And then you start the ball rolling in that person's particular life to want to further educate themselves on what's going on.
And and also, I recommend for TIs and just people in this situation to also, just don't. I mean, it's good also to read a lot about this stuff, but sometimes you need to take a break. So you need to read different stories. You know what I'm saying? Because your life you can't allow your life to be all about fighting this thing 24/7. You need time to separate sometimes yourself from that way of thinking, because you don't want to be too consumed in it, all right? Because the more you get consumed in it, the more obsessive it becomes. And obsession is not a good thing.
Absolutely not.
So, you know, what I do from time to time, I read other novels. Like, I'll read, like, something science fiction or something, you know, an autobiography of someone or, you know, that kind of stuff. But, you know, you don't want to create these obsessive compulsive behaviors and thought patterns. You know, so it's, while you learn all you can, you also have to remember that, you know, to read something different every now and then.
I agree with that. It's kind of like being a person that just reads one author. That's it. Right. You don't read other authors, just one specific author, and your mind is narrow-minded on that particular point of view, that perception.
Right.
So you're just going to have that outlook on what you believe is that particular life or what have you. You're not going to have a combination of things as it should be, because a well-versed person is going to have a little bit of everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from with that, and I agree with that, because in regards to this topic, which for like in particular, you definitely need a break. You definitely got to step back.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with that.
Anyway, guys, I'm tired of this crap, man. I guess I went walking for a couple of miles, and you know, with this heart condition, it's just like, man, when I need to fall asleep, I need to fall asleep. You know.
I hear you.
Yeah, man. I would just say good night, and you know, you gotta just keep on doing what you do.
No doubt, you know it. Yo, thanks for stopping by, Neil, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right, man. Good night.
Have a good night, bro.
Yeah, I was like so quiet, man.
Yeah, no, I was getting ready to ask you guys. Still there? Yeah, Nigel's still there. Ron, you still there?
I'm still here. I have it on mute because I'm at the trolley station. It gets kind of crowded and loud, and you know, director conversations everywhere. So, yeah.
Yo, I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna mute it right now, though. Okay.
All right.
And keep talking.
No doubt. Yo, nice.
Yeah, man.
So, the thing that I wanted to bring to your attention, man, I've been speaking to a young T.I. from the States, 20 years old, okay? I found out today that he got sectioned, right? He was
what?
Sectioned.
Section?
Yeah, you don't know what that is?
No.
He got placed under psychiatric care by force.
Okay.
Got committed.
Mm-hmm. Where?
In a mental hospital where he's at in Arkansas. And he pretty much, what happened was, he was telling me what was going on and how he felt that he was being organized off. He felt that his parents were involved. They were talking. He told me things that they were telling him under their breath, like mumbling this shit under their breath. And they would say something like, you know, you're going to come eat, and then he'll go over to the table and he'd be like, what's for dinner? And then he'll sit down. Be like, it's such and such, and then they'll walk away and say, enjoy it, because, you know, you're not going to last long. Under their breath, mumbling it, like gaslighting it.
Yeah, they're being controlled, man. They're being mind controlled. That's the technology. His parents are totally being manipulated and controlled. They don't even know it.
Okay. Because he said that from what he's hearing it, he's like, because he's not understanding everything. He's just starting, right? He ran across a couple of videos, mine in particular, you know, and he was like, wow, I think that's what's happening to me too. And then he ran across, you know, Nappy's videos, and he was like, wow, man, you know, he started getting more amped. As he get more amped and shit, he started noticing that his parents were targeting him with the hand signals too. So I didn't mention in the whole aspect of the mind control technology because I didn't want to overwhelm him. I didn't want to do what Nigel said, which is do the whole shotgun effect thing. I was trying to do a little bit at a time. You know what I'm saying? I try to explain the more practical stuff where he could get more of a gist of what's happening with the psychological operational part. And he was telling me that they were doing noise campaigns, not just at home, but people upstairs in the neighborhood. They were starting a construction job all of a sudden. You know all this. Exactly. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, you're being targeted, brother. You know, and I felt bad, man, because they're getting younger and younger, Nigel. You know what I'm saying? It's like a 20-year-old now, bro. Raw Truth said it best. You know, he came out and he said, this kid is supposed to be worrying about what college he's going to go to. You know what I'm saying? And the next date that he's going to go on and shit like that. Why should he be worrying about fucking targeting right now?
Yeah.
What's your take on that, Nigel? Why do you think they're getting younger and younger, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, listen, they know that they can do this to anybody at whatever moment, okay? And for whatever the reason is, you know, I mean, listen, we know that they target people at any age. You know, he's probably one of the youngest that you know. You know what I'm saying? So there are probably more people out there younger than me. Like my kids, they target my kids. They have other kids in the school calling my kids and I see it.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I see it.
Right. I'm talking about in regards to the ones that are coming after me to ask questions, you know, and actually word like that they feel like they're being taught. You know what I mean? Like they actually took the phone and be like, yo, let me try to call this person, let me try to email this person, let me, you know, and they're
right.
That age.
Because they know something is listen. They know something is wrong. Okay, you get to a point where they're at. I mean, probably what it means that maybe they're being awakened at a much younger age. You know what I'm saying, but if he's 20 and he's awakened to his target, and that means they might have been targeting him at a very young age. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like in his teens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, with these people, man, who it's like, I tell you, man, it's disheartening sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, but I think you just gotta let him know and say, hey, man, you know, this is what happened, and send him to the information, and that's what you got to do. You know, if you keep in contact and send him to the information. Tell him, hey, this is what he needs to read. This is what he needs to understand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not gonna have the chance right now, man. These sections, so I'm gonna have to wait to see what happens if I hear from him after he gets out. You know? Crazy, man.
Yeah, I know, it is. You know, that they're target a 20-year-old or even a teenager in the manner in which they you know, it is ridiculous.
It's like Raw Truth said, man. This kid should be thinking about what college he's gonna go to, what he's gonna choose, what career he's gonna, you know, follow up on, the next date that he's gonna go on, what movie's coming out on Friday, so he can go. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of shit he should be thinking about. Yeah, that's this shit. You know, and I'm not just saying that because of age and stuff like that. No one should go through this period. I understand that, but when you hear 20. Tell you that, it's like, wow, man. Like, damn, man. These people are really getting out. Well, not that we didn't know already that they're getting out of hand, but it's just to hear the reality come knocking like that and letting you know, like, yo, I'm targeted too. I was in 20. I'm like, holy shit. Like, wow, the reality of hearing that. Like, you know, and you know that if you hear a 20-year-old, like you said, there's got to be more that are probably even younger that don't know.
Yeah, well, listen, it's more disheartening to you because, again, you and I know what it's like. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we're much older. You know, this is a young kid, just got out of his teens. You know what I'm saying? He's 20. You know what I'm saying? So you know that he has his whole life to go through a lot of shit that we go through at the age that we're at. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You hit it on the head, nice.
So, and it's a horrible thing to know what this kid is going to go through.
Exactly.
That's what I said. That's what I said. But it's the perfect opportunity to school him, to get him to the information at the age that he's at, so that he'll survive it. He'll survive the onslaught that's coming. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how you got to look at it. You got to look at it that the sooner we get to these to the targeted individual, the better it will be for them, because we have a wealth of information that they're going to need. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. And so they're going to be able to handle it, a lot better. And pretty soon, the more people they do it, and the more information we give them, soon, early. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they'll have a stronger chance of, not falling into the traps and the manipulations and all that stuff. And you know what I'm saying? And that way, we've given them the tools that they need to survive, the tools that they need to see the manipulation, the tools that they need to understand what's being done to them, the tools that they need to fight back. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's how I look at it. I look at it like, hey, and it's like, with another TI, like that, the TI that I just, like I talked about earlier, that recently communicating with, and she was like, she's only been the TI for like 6 months. But I gave her the information, talked to her about it, you know what I'm saying? And then, she's pretty good. At least I hope she's pretty good. I gotta give her more, but I hope she's pretty good. And she's been handling it pretty well. And she has young children, and it's important for her to fully understand what's going on, because they will use her kids against her.
No doubt about that.
Okay.
Nice. Let me ask you this, man. In your heart of hearts, right? Looking at the situation now, in the here and now, do you see what you've done so far, or what your information has been able to do to impact people enough to want to know more, to educate themselves and shit on what's going on? Do you see at this point some sort of fruition 20 years later in regards to
yeah, definitely. Yesterday I was posting stuff on Saturday. That's 12 now, but Saturday I was posting stuff on Facebook, and the TI, made a comment in the post that I made, and she was like, she's like, I just thank you people who lift me up, and okay, I was like, that's dope. That you understand that you come into the reality of the situation. That you understand that you. So, you know what I'm saying? Listen, bro. Like I said, if I reach some people slowly, and they reach them quick, and they get it slowly, as long as they reach to that point where they actually get it, you know what I'm saying? Then yeah. Perpetrators out there, they're mad as hell. They are mad.
You know why they mad, man. They can't talk to us no more the same way, man. They know it. We know it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to get any better for them in regards to us educating more people. I'm not going to stop. I know you're not going to stop. You know what I mean? Raw truth is still on it. You know what I mean? Not have done the nappy head roots, Nicholson. We on our grind when it comes down to spreading this real information. Trying to support real PIs You know what I'm saying? And going forward with it, man, regardless of all the crap that they try to pull, all the hocus pocus and the shenanigans that they like to bestow upon us on a daily. So that shit ain't making us stop anything. That shit ain't even phasing us. It did at one point. I have to admit that. It had us all at one point, you know what I mean? But once you come to the conclusion of what's happening, you got a definition to it, start realizing exactly the points and the goals behind certain things. You got an understanding of how they do it. You know what I mean? It's a different ballgame after the fact.
Yeah. Anyway, yo, I gotta.
No doubt, Nigel. I understand, man. I appreciate you participating like always, man.
Yeah, listen. The next call, I'm gonna give you the other information that you wanted. You know,
oh yeah. No. Don't worry,
you can't hit them with everything at once. Bro.
Yeah, you're right. No. You're absolutely right. That's that shotgun effect shit, man. You're right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're right. I stand corrected, man. You're absolutely right about that. No doubt. Not only that, it didn't pertain to the topic either. So
right.
I understand. Definitely next time, man. I'll give you the floor once again, like I did today. You could go out a segment, an hour, 2 hours, however you want, man. You already know.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Okay.
Good night, bro. Raw Truth 7.
Yeah, I'm here.
What's the deal, man? What's going on out there?
Yeah, you already know the directive, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here just trying to wait for the next stop, you know what I mean? Riding it through. Yeah, you can already hear it.
You work tonight, man?
Yeah, I work tonight. It should be an easier night. All the festivals are, are like kind of over right now, and then they're going to start setting up Comic-Con stuff tomorrow, though, I think. More of the bigger things, you know what I mean? And then Comic-Con's going to start Thursday, and it's going to carry all the way to like Saturday, I think. Yeah, Thursday to Saturday, yeah, it's 4-day thing. Hotels are going to be like really expensive right now, you know what I mean? So I'm like, dang, I'm just kind of thinking about what I'm going to do, but I'll wait till it gets here to figure out what to do, you know what I mean? Hey, did you see the new video I posted?
I saw you had a new video, but I didn't check it out yet, man. I got it on my watch list. I'm gonna watch it.
You'll see it. It says I don't want to wear a skirt.
Oh.
I got a skirt perp, dude. It was funny.
Excuse me. Oh wow. You know what it probably was, bro? That being that we were talking about that shit so much and we were laughing about it and we were like carrying on with it, they probably knew about it because they listen to the calls and shit like that.
Oh, most deaf, dude. Most deaf. You know what I mean?
Probably wanted to do a skit.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what it was.
And you know what else they did though too? Check this out. So his handler was on the other side of the tracks, like behind the gate. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like the trolley is coming, so he didn't think I was gonna whip out my camera and take video. I whipped that shit out so quick and took a video of it, and then he was just right there in the open, perfect, boom, see his face and everything. And then he went and he tried to hide behind the kiosk, you know what I mean? And the perp was following him, and he was kind of like, nah, don't follow me, you know what I mean? With a skirt and all doped out shit, you know what I mean? Got him in a skirt and compact boots. I was just like, that shit was funny as hell, bro. And I really think it had to do with they were listening to our conversation, you know what I mean? So,
Absolutely. No question.
Yeah. I can run across the street. Let's just not get hit by a car. Yeah, man, Nigel O'Neill. What's up, man? I love it. I don't have to say anything. I just get educated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, what they've been doing is just the same shit they've been doing through history. It's just the technology has just been updated. That's it.
Right.
Religion been updated a little bit too. About it, you know what I mean? It's about it, you know. And like, what was it, the psychiatric field? I agree with them on that shit, you know. You do have to talk to some of them, but do your research and know your limits, you know what I mean? Definitely have to know your limits, or they'll pump you all day and then just make you more crazy. And just, well, they're think in their head, well, he's just crazy, you know, and no one really knows him, so we'll just put him on like 7 different meds, which they did to me. Remember that? Just different, so many different meds, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what I did was I did a private practice doctor. I had to pay out of pocket. You know what I mean? Okay. And they charge you like, what is it, like, I don't know, like $60 an hour for a session or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Some shit like that, you know. And because my Medi-Cal didn't like cover all of it, you know what I mean? Like, right. But yeah, and he was like, nah, dude, I've heard about this before, you know. And like, he's like, yeah, it's been happening. It's a phenomenon that's been happening a lot more since, you know, the 2000s has been going on. It's been around for a while, but more people are getting involved with it. You know what I mean? And so he's like, well, here's the thing, man. I can't like give you any more information. Yes, I do believe it exists. I can't give you any help on that field because it's just I have to protect my family. You know what I mean? He's saying shit like that. I got to protect my well-being, you know? Right. And I was like, I understand. I get it, you know? It's like, but it was just enough for him to admit it, you know?
No doubt. He was honest enough to tell you that shit.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Respect that. I mean?
Yeah. Because, I don't know how I would feel about that, too, if, like, you know, he was, you know, older gentleman, you know, like you're doing psychology for the last fucking 20 some odd years, 30 years. And then you have one person that, you know, that like no one really knows in society, whatever. And then all of a sudden you help that dude, you lose your pension, your wife leaves you, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, you know what I mean? I mean, he's just a crazy person, you know? But, you know, he moved. So he moved, though. He ain't here in San Diego, that's for sure.
Yeah, I noticed that you told me, man, that a lot of people that you knew at one point that lived there, that particular area of California, moved either to Oregon, Texas, places like that. And they don't look back. They're like, yeah, you know, I couldn't be myself over there or such and such. That's interesting how they turned it in that way.
And it's like they don't even talk about it. I think they know about it. They just don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? I don't even think they know the term for it, you know? Like, a lot of them do, you know what I mean? A lot of them do. But what I have to say about it is there's some of them that were just like, well, shit, I already have this going, so I might as well just, like, have a cognitive, like, dissonance, just like, you know, Nigel was saying, you know, that's what they're doing, you know? They did a few years. Because most people that come to San Diego, there's 2 things that happen. They spend maybe 2 years minimum, maximum 3 years maybe. That's it, and they move. They go to another city nearby in SoCal, and then they'll probably leave there too. Because just the bougie mentality here, you know what I mean? It's not like where I live, where everyone's, you know, like down to earth and click better with everyone, even if they're like here nerd or whatever. They just move. They don't want to stay here. You know what I mean? So they just leave and they start a new life because, you know, I've heard the stories, you know, like even who else did it was my old roommate that actually moved here. He was the manager of grocery outlet in downtown, right? And he's like, I'm just getting depressed, man. I kind of don't want to be here. I don't know what to do. He was like breaking down. He broke down like a few times, you know. Like, I'm sick of it, you know. All I do is work. I don't have any friends that I can like relate to, and I'm like, I get it. The number one thing these people want to do is just make money here. They don't give a fuck about me, you, nobody, you know. Like, they don't give a fuck, you know. They'll act like if you have something that's essential to their well-being that can get ahead, and that's about it. And then once that's through, it's like they act like they don't know you. You know what I mean? So I can understand why they just leave. You know, I mean, and you know, the second reasoning is usually people won't leave, so they'll just become like a drug addict. You know, there's lawyers out here on the street fucking went crazy because of this program. People just blacklisted them from society. They don't even know what happened to them. You know, one day they're on a business trip. You know, a few month business trip here in San Diego, setting up something for their company, and all of a sudden they get stuck here, you know? What happened? I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard of stories like that before where, like, there's people who've had master's degrees and stuff, and bachelors or whatever in New York or whatever, movie stars, and all of a sudden they're just homeless, and they don't know why. They just went crazy and get on drugs to cope. Have no friends out of nowhere. They all just leave. They bounce. And this is the place it happens at in LA too.
Yo, what part was Randy Quaid from?
Ah, shit. I don't remember. Well, he was in. I remember he was in LA. He had a house in LA, but I don't know where he was. His origins are from though. I'm pretty sure it was LA.
Okay.
Yeah, it was big house. It was $6 million property.
He's a good example of what you were talking about.
Yeah, he's still on the run, dude. I mean, he's doing, what is it now? He's doing the YouTube thing and like podcasting and stuff like. And you could see it, like how long it's. I mean, this has been going on for years, man. Like, I mean, right after, remember that movie, Not Another teen movie or date movie or Done Another Date movie? You know, those stupid, scary movie type movies, you know?
Yeah.
The same cast members. After that, it was like no one ever heard from him again, you know what I mean? Like, that was the one that ended it, you know? Like, and he's been in, I mean, Capital One commercials, you know, National Lampoons, Vacation, you know, all that shit. Yeah, I got it.
Yo, Raw, what do you think it's going to take for people to literally come to their senses at some point or another? This type of information.
Well, like, I think what it would be is honestly, just don't give the fuck up, you know, like, we're going to have our breaking points, and that's why we have these, you know, these talks, you know, this podcast, this live feed, you know. I mean, because if we don't talk about, like, what's going on with our lives, we're going to go crazy. This is our rehab. This is our place of, you know, peace, you know, place to, you know, like, let's say an alternate adoptive family, you know what I mean? That's
very well said.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that poor kid from Arkansas, man, 20 years old, bro, and he's already sectioned.
You believe that shit, bro?
I mean, these people are, like, that's dismissive. I have to say it like Chappelle, bro. It's dismissive. You know what I mean?
Absolutely correct. You know, I don't understand, like, how is this happening like this at such a fast pace? I mean, I shouldn't be that surprised, really. But at the same time, it's like the reality of that shit hitting you when you hear a 20-year-old coming to you with this sort of shit.
Yeah.
You realize, like, wow, man.
Well, check it, though. Nigel said it, or Neil said it earlier. He saw if you take off the body, if you take off the head, the body will follow. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
If you take off the intellectual interaction of social dynamics in society, you lean on to the alternate operations of it. You know, let's say, I mean, look at right now. We just had a festival. How is there an increase of gay people? You know what I mean? That means there's like just this alternative narrative they're putting in people's lives. You know, it's
right.
It's a systematic thing. I mean, in nature, like this homosexuality stuff doesn't really exist. You know what I mean? Like with humans, I mean, with animals, but they don't do it for pleasure, though. You know. Yeah, you get my drift. You know what I mean? They don't even know what they're doing. Yeah. You know, because they don't use the front part of their brain that much. We do, which makes us, you know, intellectuals. You know, and so well, they got me kind of like just tripping right now because there's, you know, sorry, I'm gonna try to focus.
Don't worry about it. I understand. Take your time.
And so, with the whole thing with that is like, you know, they're demoralizing us. Once we lose the principles of, you know, being intellectual, we're an immoral society, and we become sensitive. Ultimately, ultra sensitive. Like you see it on the news. If you watch news or alternative news, I would prefer. You hear people become more sensitive. You know what I mean? That's offensive. You know, like if you're on Facebook or any YouTube video you watch, it's offensive. You can't say this. You can't say that. And what that causes is like, well, that will get in the way of my friendship or with them, or so I should just be sensitive with them or I'll lose that friend. It's like, nah, it should be fuck that. I'm going to stand up for what I believe. And like, if they don't like it, you know, then tough, you know what I mean? Like, you just got to be a friend now, you know what I mean? Like, as much as possible. I mean, of course, there's ways of like, you know, not being offensive to people, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But those are natural principles, and it's like, we're not being offensive just to be like, oh, we don't want to be your friend or anything. It's just like, no, you just want to be a fucking friend, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know, I only have like 2 lives, bro. Have a good night. And, I think what it really comes down to is everyone's been, you know, with this new age movement of politics and stuff, it's causing people to either be really, really stressed out because of the outcome of political aggression, and ultimately, I think it's sensitivity. Once you're exhausted, you become sensitive. You know, you're exhausted. That's what they want. It's like you're up against the ropes. You know what I mean? And then you're tired. And like, obviously, you know, your opponent's winning. You just like, forget it. I'm gonna tap out. You know what I mean? Like, you got armbarred. Boop, I'm done. I'm gonna tap out. That's it. You know what they're doing, and that's how fast the rate is going, and why it's going fast too. Another byproduct to it too. Look at the movies. All the hand signals are in the movies. Dude, I watched the whole season. Like, I watched all 9 seasons of Walking Dead, from beginning to end, and I noticed towards the third, fourth season, they started incorporating all the hand signals, swipe the mouth, the nose, you know, all that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is like early. I mean, actually, not even early. This is mid 2000s. I want to say, yeah, mid 2000s. They start incorporating all that stuff, and they notice they start doing it in society, and it's interacting with them, and they feel important, you know. But then there's other people that don't want to participate in this, and we're pretty much the sheep for them. Slaughter, control. Well, they're like, well, no one else is controlling them. Well, we can control them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the dude that has a job. He works at Burger King, and then there's a homeless guy. And, you know, the homeless guy ain't going to do anything. And he always wants to be around the dude that has a job, so what he's going to do, he can control him. If he's in that program, you know?
Right. I agree with what you're saying, that there's been things that, like in movies, series, and things of that nature. I'm going to go with a movie right now, one of my personal favorites, you know what I'm saying? Good Will Hunting. There's a scene where he's talking to the chick outside in a restaurant, and there's like the extras in the background. They were doing the perp wave, but like, you know how when someone pulls their hair over their ear, you know what I'm talking about? They kept doing that shit in the background, and I kept saying, I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I've said to you before when we've spoken about movies and things that they put in movies, it's not by chance. Like if you see a wall that they're focusing the camera on that has a sundial for a clock, it's for a reason. They're trying to show sun deities, shit like that, sun worship and things of that nature. If you see a goat's head, you know, obviously that's the Baphomet and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Like when you see anything in a movie, even the extras in the background, whether it's color-coded or pattern-coded or signals and stuff like that, they're doing it for a reason. There's a reason behind it. They're being directed to these things, even as extras, even though extras usually don't always have lines, but the ones that do or don't, or acting like they don't, because they're in the scene in the background in a coffee shop, you know, on the outside, having a fake conversation, they'll start doing that, all that stuff. And I'm like, you know, when you're watching that shit in real time, knowing what time it really is, right? Looking at that shit, you know, hidden in plain sight all along, man. But the shit is that when you're not aware of it, right? When you're not woken to that shit, to you it's nothing. To you it's like, oh, that person's just, you know, they're an extra in the movie. That's it. You don't even focus on any of that shit. But that's what this program does. They make you focus on that stuff. That's how they sensitize you to that shit. That's why it's so diabolically clever how they've done this program to make you, if you talk about it, look and sound crazy. I mean?
Yep. You hit it right on the money, dude. Hit it right on the money. And like, you even look at all the game shows too. They do it in the game shows. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, I get a bag too, please. Alright, save the cash. Alright, apply the bus. Oh, can I get a bag too, please? Yeah. Thank you. And I mean, I don't know if you've watched like game shows when like you were younger, or even like I would say maybe maybe even late 90s. Like I was watching a game show and they were kind of doing it. There was not that much of it though, you know. This is where like, you know, I would say right after, you know, the 9/11 thing, you know, popped off. That's when it was starting to grow, because people were like, well, you know, like, where's God right now? You know what I mean? Where's my sense of hope and security? You know what I mean? All that stuff was gone. Where's my government when it needs to help me? Well, and they brought this other alternative in. You know what I mean? Like Hollywood started indoctrinating people. And this is just the lower level stuff that perps do. You know what I mean? It's bigger than this. Like, you know, Nigel said it best too. He said, you know, like, it's bigger than this, what they're really actually doing. You know what I mean? Way bigger. Way bigger. It's unbelievable. Like, these kids are, dude, there's little kids doing this shit that know this more than me. They turn the corner, they know the signal to give. You know, like, what the fuck? Whereas, like, men that are over 30, bro, and we don't have no fucking clue what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, we know what's going on, but we don't know the meaning behind it. You know, like, the hand signals and all that shit. We didn't learn this shit when we were young, you know what I mean? Or when 2000s came around, you know, we didn't, none of that. You know, so they're getting these kids. They're either joining it. If they don't join it, they become a target, you know what I mean? Right. I think, you know, I mean, shit. I'm still like scared about what I told you yesterday when I told you about Band-Aid lady, bro.
That shit fucked me out.
Yo, that's real, bro. I'm telling you, they do the shit like they do it in movies. And remember when I said when I went to the hospital, the guy said enjoy the movie. He's like, oh, sit back, enjoy the movie. It's all about you.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was kind of,
man.
Yep, I was kind of relating it when I was at whatchamacallit's house. And I've seen this lady even before I became homeless, bro. I've seen her on the beach with her cart, everything, bro.
Yo, if you don't mind, Raw, you mind telling the story, bro? Because that shit is incredible, man. If you don't mind. Yo, that shit is incredible.
Is there anyone else on the call?
No, at this moment, no.
Okay.
But it is going on live. It's live streaming.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have to write it. Yeah, I will. I have to write it out better, you know? Like,
no. You don't have to write anything now. It's up to you. You want to say it, man.
Yeah.
You, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You want to say it, then we don't have to talk about it.
Well, shoot, I don't know. You know, it's crazy. His excuse, I was like, the next time whenever I came over to his house, you know, like, I think we were going to go to, that was when we went to Disneyland, I think. I'm like, where's your mom at, bro? It's like, he moved, and Aaron moved too. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I was kind of thinking, that's your real mom, you know? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I was thinking, like, weird shit like that, bro. Like, are these just like a group of collective actors just doing shit, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't blame you for thinking that.
No?
I think you put it best as the comparison to the movie Saw, when in the beginning, I think it was part 1, where he was lying down in the middle of that fucking bathroom, whatever that was.
Yeah.
He was the one that was him all along. He shot himself with muscle relaxers. When he got up at the end, it was him all along. I was like, oh shit. That's basically what happened to you with this situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's the comparison you gave. I was like, yo, man.
On a more of a cameo type of way, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That shit blew my mind. When you told me, I was like, yo, what?
And I'll go tell anyone else. They don't fucking believe me. I told Robin about it. He's like, nah, you're tripping, dude. Like,
nah, I totally believe you, man. There's no doubt in my mind that happened. I could tell the way you described the scenario. I still respect you, man.
You got a bunch of people that were in the country and have nothing but time on their hands. They can do all this shit. You know what I mean?
And get paid for it. That's the main thing. That's the main thing, bro.
Yeah. And like his dad supposedly worked for the government.
I'll let you go.
Yeah, he worked for I forgot. He said something like he said it was kind of like Area 51 in a way.
Oh man.
Yeah, like not with aliens or any of that type shit though, bro. To be realistic, you know what I mean? But I don't know. He probably just left that out, but I don't know. It was like they're from New Mexico. But that's where Roswell happened, you know.
Right.
Yep. And he was telling me that his dad worked for some kind of contracting company, and he would go like and work on this base or something like that, and he had to have like a top level security or whatever. He worked on some kind of engineering thing. I don't know what the fuck was it, dude. Was it maybe to do with nuclear power, like missiles or some shit?
That sounds heavy duty.
Yeah. So I mean, if his dad's already crippled motherfucker right near me, and I know he did it too. But he, you know. He could already be in a secret society this entire time as a child, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, what the fuck, you know? You know, it's the truth, dude. This entire time, I've seen the lady, like, bro, before I was homeless, I've seen her around. She always wears the sunglasses and that wig, and it looked like real hair, though, for a second, you know what I mean? And, like, I'm just like, damn, dude. Like, something's just not right about all this. And then when I became homeless, I see her at all the feeds. And I remember she would sit across from me sometimes, or the next table over across from me, or diagonal. But I always had a feeling like something was up with her. Maybe she was watching me. I don't know. I wasn't like fully aware and didn't care. I'm there to eat, you know, and do my business and go to sleep, you know.
Right.
And then till now, like, holy shit, bro. You know what I mean?
You know, that's supposed to have thrown your whole mind for a loop. It was supposed to fuck you up. Like, that whole shit was supposed to mind fuck you and put you in a state that you were traumatized, you know. And I'm sure that it shocked you.
I'm still traumatized.
Right. No, but wait. What I'm trying to say by bringing this up in this point reference is that you're still here. You got your wits about you.
Yeah.
You've regained your strength in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that speaks for itself, bro. You know what I mean? And I commend you for that. It's just easy to come across some shit like that and still have your wits about you. You know,
likewise.
You know what I mean? Thank you, brother. No, it's true, man, because the thing is that you got to look at all the stuff that's been bombarded in your psyche before that. Then when that happened, then afterwards still, because it doesn't stop. It's like,
right?
Yeah. So then, what does that say about you? What does that say about your resilience of your spirit?
Yeah, I could have been just doing more drugs and shit. And you know what? It was crazy. Like, I wasn't even doing drugs at that time, so I was really aware. You know what I mean? Like, I have no choice but to have that slight, that when that fear comes on, that flight, and I stayed there, bro. I'll just stay there and take it, whatever's gonna happen. I spent the night there too. Imagine that, bro. Wow. You know what I mean? And like hearing them like throwing pots and you know, dumb shit, you know, same shit they do. And at first, it was crazy because like they all work in concert with each other, like it's an orchestra, bro. They're orchestra, you know what I mean?
They work in tandem.
I was like, holy shit, bro. Like, I said something, like, he'll say a catchphrase. It's supposed to relate to me. He said something like, well, that's what happens when you don't mind mind your own business or something. I hear, you know what I mean? You know, or, like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay. And I just mind my own business like nothing happened, you know? But, like, I know they could tell I was in fear, you know? They knew it. Still fresh to it.
Yeah, pieces of shit is what they are.
Oh, dude, beyond. I even told, like, I met with some people that know him, and I'm like, yo, you need to check your boy. Like, what's up with him? And he's like, there's nothing wrong with him. I'm like, yo, then I can't mess with your group. You know what I mean? I can't mess with your family. You know? Get out of here with that shit, man. You know, a family. Like, you know, it's trippy, man. Like, I know I've done some bad things I'm not proud of in my life, but then when you get put in this program, you have no point. But like, I mean, I'm not trying to be a comparison, but I shouldn't. But you know, I have to say it though. This is one of the moments I have to say it. I'm not doing shit like they're doing. You know what I mean? Nowhere near. They're practicing evil. I mean, think about that for a second. They're practicing evil. I'm doing shit in slight ignorance or of peer pressure, you know, or just of natural human instincts that's considered evil, but not real evil though. You know what I mean? You get my drift? Like smoking weed, or you know what I mean? You did drugs for the first, you know, shit like that. But I mean, other things though. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, yeah.
Let me just say this real quick, bro. As to what you're saying, you know, I also have done fucked up shit in my life. I'm no fucking angel. I'm the first to admit that and say that. I know that. You know what I mean? But this doesn't give anybody, including them and the architects of this program, the reason this to anybody.
Yeah, no fucking right. You know?
This is beyond, you know, human reason. This is human experimentation with people that have the resources and
unlimited
power. Right, exactly. You know, to do these things. These are psychopathic, sociopathic, narcissistic, covert aggressive children in adult bodies with advanced technology and, like you just said, unlimited resources to do these things. And it's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's not Nigel's, Neil's, Night of Thunder's, Nappy Head Roots. None of our faults. What's happened to us? This is something that was done by design. This is what they call human experimentation. Test subjects that were needed to run their tests to tweak and perfect their advanced technologies and also to see what they can do to incorporate some sort of societal control globally. And they needed the test subjects in the real world setting to do this sort of stuff with.
Yeah. I mean, we're in real time right now. We're in the real time. This is really going on, you know. That's still, like, even in itself, just think about that just for a second. Kind of fucking blows your mind for a minute. Like, damn, they're doing it right now as we speak, and it doesn't stop. It's happening as I'm talking to you, you know. That you know, they're doing it for societal matters to keep people who have money and power and gaining more money. I mean, unlimited. There's so fucking much. And then on top of that, keep the general population guessing. You know, they keep us guessing. You know, because you know all the little tricks they do. They're like, well, why is that doing it? And then we get stuck in that conundrum of just thinking. You know what I mean? I bet you, what's his name? The kid in Arkansas, the 20-year-old, is sitting in a fucking
psych ward
right now, just fucking guessing. What the fuck did I do? You know what I mean? He didn't do nothing wrong. He likes to color, ride his bike, and be a fucking kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was doing shit at 20 years old. I mean, I worked, but I mean, like, and he was going to college. Like, come on, man. He should be wondering, like, when am I going to go take Kinsey out on a date or some shit? Some girl. Like, come on, man. This is fucking kids. You know what I mean? I remember my fucking, that's what I was doing at 20 years old. Like, bro, I remember I was engaged to this girl, and I love her, dude, and she fucking still called. Like, I mean, I don't think she's a perp, but I don't know if they ever got to her yet, but, I mean, she seems pretty sincere, nothing personal. She just always talks about, like, just normal shit, but, yeah.
Well, pardon me, just in case you didn't want to talk too much about that, remember we're live streaming. Just in case you want to say too much, you know what I mean?
Oh, shit, I didn't even realize,
Yeah. Keep in mind that.
Yeah. But, I'm just saying in general, you know what I mean? Like, I was doing that stuff at that age. There was no doubt about it. I didn't see any of this stalking stuff out here. This stuff did not exist, you know what I mean? To me, in my world, at that time, I lived in a small world, you know what I mean? At that time, when I moved, when I was 16 years old, we moved from the Bay Area up to more Northern California. We lived in a small, secluded neighborhood. You know what I mean? And it's, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe at that time, because my dad, who he was affiliated back then, it was probably that nature of that thing. They were maybe protecting me. I don't know. Until I rebelled a lot, because I rebelled a lot. There was stuff I just did not agree with, in society, and that probably got me excommunicated, But when it comes down to it, dude, these people, they have an agenda, and we're not part of it. The whole matter of it is, I mean, you can go. You go look at history. I mean, obviously, World War II, the Jews weren't part of that, the positive part of being the agenda. But on retrospect, look at them now. They're the most powerful people in the world. They pretty much run the world. spying, education, their troops, and religion. You know, they run everything. I mean, they're the ones like on the throne. So I mean, kind of like us. You know, we're not part of their agenda. But as time plays out, yeah, there's going to be heavy losses, casualties, whatever. Some people might become perps. But we are going to be the ones that are going to be the victors who rewrite history. And I do believe that. Mark my words. I do believe that.
I really like that, actually, man. That was very well said, man. You commented it on one of the videos I did, I think, with that same exact thing on the commentary. And I could definitely say that's one of the best, well said, comments, well thought out. So that's exactly what I feel is going to happen. Definitely, without question, on the right side of history. No doubt about it.
I mean, morality will always win. It doesn't mean, but it does not mean everyone's going to live, you know?
No, right.
But their name will live on, though. You know, our names are, I mean, even if we don't get mentioned, we know we were part of it. People will know who we were. That's not the whole point, but I'm saying we're on the right side, just like you said, you know. That's all I want to worry about, you know.
Absolutely.
I don't want any of this to go on any further. I get it, man. I mean, look at the founding fathers of America. I mean, yeah, there were some corrupt individuals who were infiltrated in there, and they still had reforming. But I mean, these people, they had normal jobs. Some were just farmers. Some were just, I don't know, inventors. Just normal people too. Just worked regular jobs. But they had a good idea. Their ideology. They wanted to have every man be created equal, and they'll do whatever it takes, you know. And they did, you know. We've got over the, you know, the tyranny and oppression of slavery in England, you know, of taxation, you know, because that's theft. That's stealing from us. We got over, you know, slavery in America, you know, according to race, you know. I mean, but there's still matters that are reforming, and it's getting better, you know. We can't say it got worse. It really is getting better, you know. And we're part of that. This is the new part right now. You know, we're getting to a point where they say the world is becoming overpopulated with 7 billion people right now. And so, I mean, we're part of those select few that are going to change that. You know, they want the world to be, you know, held at a depopulated, you know, spectrum, you know, so they can easily control us. Either that or join them, so we don't get out of line. We know our place, you know. And yeah, I mean, that's what I have to say about it. I mean, what do you think about as far as I mean, like, here's what I have to say too. I mean, look at us. We're all across the world. We come from all different, you know, religious backgrounds, walks just in general. Yeah, walks of life in general. You know, how is it that we're all come together for this? You know, and we all have like different taste of everything. You know what I mean? I would never even think in a million years, like, I would be talking to someone from New York City or UK and be bonding with them on middle ground level, you know, even like, can I say the grassroots level right now, you know what I mean? Right. Like, I would never think that. I would never think that. In real life, I probably would not even be friends with any of you guys. And in my old life, when I was asleep. But now that we have a purpose, it's like, shoot, we're getting back to normality, where it's like, we want to be treated equally. We don't want to be separated and sectioned from society, you know, like what they're doing right now, you know, and literally we're getting sectioned day by day. And you know what? And I'm very proud to say that, you know, because of this, stuff I'm going through, it's making me stronger, and it's making me be open-minded to other people, you know, because, I mean, I just didn't, you know, I had my own life. I kind of, in some ways, would just, you know, I didn't, you know, like, I don't know, like, wouldn't get along with other people from somewhere else, you know. All I know is California, you know. And like now it's like, okay, I'm seeing for what it's worth and being, you know, social again. These people aren't social; they're selfish. You know, it's all fake. It's all fake. It ain't real. You know. I mean, what do you think though? I mean, did you ever think that you would be ever like, you know, talking from other people around the world and ever changing your life, you know, because this is life changing. It's making me become a better person because of it. It's definitely humbling me.
You know, to answer your question, not at all. I never thought that I'd be doing that. I never thought that I'd be connecting with people internationally, you know, and let alone creating my own YouTube channel as private as a person that I've always been, you know. As people can see, I don't show myself because I choose not to. It's a way that I kind of hold on to somewhat of a privacy. Because these motherfuckers all know locally who the fuck I am.
Right.
Listening in right now that are probably perps. But it gives me that feeling of kind of like a person who goes to the store and chooses the diet soda over the regular soda. It makes them feel better.
Right.
I know damn well in this day and age, there ain't no such thing as privacy. Especially with the technology and all that shit. But, again, the reference point that I made beforehand with the whole diet soda versus regular soda. So, to me, it makes me feel better to do it that way. It holds on to some sort of anonymity in my head. Now, going towards what you were saying, what has it done for me definitely made me much more humble. There's a humility that came after that. When so many people started reaching out to me, and I mean in email, man, like telling me their stories and their testimonies and stuff that they've gone through and they're still going through. I mean, the most recent one is this kid from Arkansas, you know, that really threw me for a loop, man. I mean, I can't be too surprised again, but at the same time, man, when you're actually going through the motions real time, it's kind of difficult to ignore the fact that this shit is actually happening, and it is getting to the point where it's younger and younger people. Now, you made a very good point when you said, well, you know, I see children all the time fucking being used to target me, and they're doing hand signals and all that. I see it too. I would be lying if I said I didn't see. I see old people doing this shit, elderly people. I see young people doing it. I see freaking teenagers. I see high school students, junior high school students. It's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. So, in regards to what it's done for me, definitely made me a better person as well. Because now I'm able not only look at myself and see the things I need to continue working on, but I also have the ability now that I'm armed with the knowledge and the education of what's really going on. You know, as Nigel said, about 85 to 90% of this program is psychological. Make no mistake about it. You know, once you're armed with that information, it kind of gives you drive to want to continue going forward even more, because now you know what the fuck they've been doing to you and how they've been doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now you want to be able to help other people and find, like you said, I'm using your terms, find the others, quote unquote, the other genuine TIs that are out there that need our help. You know what I mean? It's giving me more incentive to want to go and do that. You know, I know that from your standpoint, you looking at it from, you know, I'm going through something that I don't want to go through, but I'm going through it, and I'm glad that I connected with you guys and such and so. That's how you're coming off, and I understand that because that's how I feel too. I'm sure the others individually have to have some sort of a similar feeling to it. maybe they'll have their own gist that'll come out with their own signature way of saying it. But at the end of the day, man, we all are people that were living our lives before this asleep, not knowing anything that was happening around us at all times. Like you said, right? You said you don't think that none of us would be friends if it wasn't for this. I agree. I don't think we would have connected any other way. That's why technology aspect of this, for example, the format we're using right now is what brought us together. So therefore, would there have been a way or a reason of us all connecting otherwise? I don't think so. I think you're absolutely right with that. I think, not just the fact that we have similarities to a degree, but we also have differences. And maybe the differences could come in other situations and venues or whatnot, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what brought us together is what's more than likely going to keep us together, because this is something, like you said, perfect word too, by the way, life changing. This shit right here, you don't go back to where you were before. This is something that's going to completely alter your whole mindset, your whole life as what you thought it was. Because at one point when you were walking around and you thought that you knew shit, like me, I thought I knew a lot of shit. I thought I knew about the New World Order and the Illuminati and Freemasonry and certain conspiracy theories. I thought I knew some shit. I ain't know nothing, man. I ain't know nothing. Because when you come to an understanding of what this is really going on behind the scenes and hidden in plain sight.
I know, and like all those the old videos we'd watch, it was all just disinfo anyways, you know what I mean? Hey, can I get a pack of American Spirit, the black pack? You know what I mean? Like, oh no, I was talking about my friend. Oh yeah. Oh, up north, yeah. And like I would never would have thought it was like this. I'm like, dang, the whole time we were watching all these videos and stuff, it was actually like this. Stuff like, Nigel said, it's subversion. It's subversion, They got us in a sleep, Or they're trying to go back to sleep, Or rest on something else, should I say. Keyword rest.
I mean, I'm not going to take away everything from stuff that I learned, because there's probably stuff that was true to a degree, but like you said, a lot of it was probably disinfo. A lot of it was to entertain, quote unquote, to put you to sleep, to take your focus basically and put it on that stuff. Again, I'm not knocking all of the stuff, because there's a lot of truth in the stuff that I learned and I read and stuff like that. But that didn't explain this hidden atrocity that was all around me at all times, and I didn't never know about any of that. And I'm supposed to be so observant. At first I was really upset at myself for not realizing that I had a lot of fake ass people around me at all times. People who I thought were my friends, people who I loved at one point, like brothers. I'm saying people who I fought for, literally, on the streets. People who I ate with, who I talked with, who I cried with, who I laughed with. You know what I mean? And that sort of thing got to me. And I was like, damn, how the fuck couldn't I? I'm supposed to be so small. Why I ain't pick up? But then Nigel made me realize it's not your fault. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that, because that's not your fault. Who the fuck is going to see this? This is too complex. This is too interwoven. This is something that you don't see until they let you know that they want you to see it. And that shit is true. You cannot deny that or go against that, because the argument is this. If you notice, when they get ready to come out overt to you, they do it in such a way that is blatant, so as to capture your attention indefinitely. But there's a purpose behind that. The method to the madness is this. They want to create madness in you by doing that over and over and over again in your face, so as you to pick up on it, realize it, see it again, and know what they're doing, that does something to your psyche. They know that. So by them knowing that, they're relying on the fact that you're going to eventually talk about it so as to go into phase 2. Phase 2 would be to go into plausible deniability mode, them towards you. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're watching too many sci-fi movies. I think you need to go see a shrink. How many times haven't we heard that as T.I.? That's why it's important to pay attention to people when they tell you, I feel like something's happening. People are targeting me. People following me around. You know, hearing voices or whatever the case may be. You know, we've been taught that when we hear those things, automatic, someone is schizophrenic or whatever, paranoid, delusional. This is what the DSM-V for psychologists, that Bible that they go by, about mental disorders. If you've got this, then you're labeled right away with something. And then once you're labeled with something, they can attach some sort of psychotropic drug to then make money off of you and hopefully keep you as an indentured servant for the rest of your life. So the pharmaceutical industry is in bed with these organized stalkers, with these compromised psychiatrists and psychologists. And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes into the medical field where they create sicknesses in people too, to keep them coming back, because there's no business in the cure. That's why if you look into things and research, you will find that there's been no fucking American doctor here in the United States that's cured any relevant forms of cancer. Yet these people go to school, what, 7, 10 years? To do what? Same things over and over again? You get the term, practicing, quote unquote, practicing medicine. Lawyers practicing law. What the fuck is this? I'm not saying that they aren't real or good doctors that exist here. What I'm saying is, look at the terminologies for what they are. Because behind that is where reading in between the lines comes into play.
Hello?
Yeah, you got booted off.
Yeah. I think what they did was boot me off.
They probably did. Yeah, they probably did, man. I was dropping some stuff, man. Don't worry about it, man. It happens all the time with us. You know, they do this when we're on the road about things. Yeah. So,
It didn't come from your end, did it? Because, I mean, I was swarmed already with people around me, with cell phones out and everything.
Okay, maybe it was done then.
I don't know. I mean, usually I notice, usually I'll notice it's like I'm swarmed in one little section, and I'm looking up the street, and there ain't nobody walking around. But once I get to a certain point, they swarm you, you know? They'll freaking swarm you and shut your stuff off, people's cell phones out, and, you know, it was right when I was walking out, and there's this black guy with a cowboy hat out, and he was just yelling stuff at me, and I was just ignoring him. And then all of a sudden, boop, and he went to take a bite of his food, and smiling, and then that's when the phone shut off. On real time, dude, synchronized. I mean, oh no.
That's how they do shit, man. Yo,
Yeah.
listen, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut down the call, and I'm going to keep it private for a while with us, man. We'll talk, you know,
All right.
separate from the phone, all right?
All right, for sure.
Give me a second, bro. All right, y'all, this is RTTI in New York City, about 1:15 a.m. Coast time, about 10:15 p.m. West Coast time. About to shut it down for the night. It's been a long one. I started this particular podcast earlier this evening, and I just kept it running. You know what I'm saying? My day off, and you know, I decided to go on for a marathon. So went well. Happy it turned out the way it did. Few people, you know, didn't make it. Shout out to Nappy Head Roots, know what I'm saying? Hopefully it'll be on next week. Shout out to Sam, Toronto, Canada. You know what I'm saying? You already know. That's pretty much it, man. If anything, we'll see what happens next weekend. I'm not sure what's going to be a topic, but I'll definitely keep it on some intellectual knowledge gathering, educating areas for audio. RT, DI in New York City.